Hey guys, Eddie from UrbanCred. Today's video is going to be something a little different. I just wanted to talk briefly about our collaboration with Oddjobs. Paul, he owns and runs Oddjobs, and he's a maker of fantastic quality and skill. And he does a lot of different things, which is leather accents for bags. He also does patches of astronauts and kind of like samurai and Japanese kind of aesthetic, which is really cool as well. And he does a bunch of other things that I won't dive into right now, but for this specific project, we kind of worked with him to kind of create the collaboration that you've been seeing on social media, which is basically the leather handles that come in red and then come in black as well, which is what I'm using as a mic handle. The collection also includes two stabilizer straps, keepers, and then a kind of sternum strap attachment point, basically. So what I really wanted to kind of talk about here is just the behind the scenes, how that came about. And I think a question that a lot of people would be interested is really what kind of inspired this collaboration, this design, and how this kind of came to be. We wanted to take an existing product concept, which is, the leather handles, the straps, keepers, and then kind of put our own twist or our own concept onto it. And what better time to do that for Lunar New Year, right? It's coming up. It's something important to me, my family, and you don't see a lot of designs in the carry community that kind of focuses on that kind of cultural part of the world. So we set out to find a design that kind of fit the year of the snake, also that a design that we liked, and it does a design that transfers well onto a lot of different products. So this leather etching, if you look at it closely, there's a lot of curves and a lot of circles. The reason why I like this one was that it's just a different take. You don't see this pattern a lot, and it is a pattern which kind of reminds you of the snake, where the snake is kind of like it moves in a way where it slithers and slides, and this kind of pattern really reminded me of that. That aside, it's also a very cool pattern, so I think a lot of people, when they see it, it's different, it's unique, and something that you'll probably see more of later down the line in other kind of collabs or other designs that we kind of produce. We've worked to kind of create a custom lotus design on the buttons that also represent kind of the like a flower that's very important in Chinese culture. And the reason why we decided to do black and red was because, obviously black is the color of New York City. Everyone wears black. But for UrbanCred, where our colors are kind of black and white, so that's kind of where we decided on. And usually for a more limited print, we would do a flip, right? A different color. So when we launched the shirts for our brand, we did like a limited print of the white and blue. For this one, because it's Lunar New Year, we obviously had to go with red. And then the red really turned out to be really beautiful. This pattern also comes out more distinct on the red, I feel like. So that's the thing also that we were really interested in kind of pushing out more. Another question, why are these limited, and maybe why aren't they like a long-term thing? Why are we doing this limited thing? Well, the main reason why we were doing this limited thing is really because budget. We're a small brand, we're a small company. We don't have the budget to produce a bunch of these to sell at one time. But we still wanted to be able to create a piece that we could say, hey, we had a hand in that design. So what we did instead was we did a limited batch. Doing a limited batch allows us to be able to kind of be more creative, be more flexible about what we can produce and what we can put out there. As a brand that's trying new things, as a smaller business that has limited capital, we are really always trying to push the envelope in what we can do, and then also to do what we'd want to do. And then these collaborations are basically kind of like the things that we've always wanted to try and kind of experience, but also be able to kind of also support the community by supporting the makers and communities, and also being able to produce like these kind of designs that really work well together. And I think that will be going forward, you'll be able to see a lot cooler things that we've always wanted to produce but weren't able to because of budget issues. Were there any unexpected difficulties? I think that we've had, leading up to the collaboration with Paul, I think for me was, although I am in the carry space, there's a lot of things about material and how things are made, and like also Paul's original design, how that kind of translates to how it works in real life. A lot of that, even though I am kind of in the space, a lot of it still seems to be very foreign to me. So there's a lot of learning to be done about like what materials are works well, what colors work well, and how these kind of like the time frame of producing them, and how certain odd job products are kind of used. And a good example is this fidlock attachment point. So we had this kind of produced, and funny thing is I misunderstood. I thought it was going to look like this. This is what it was. I thought this was going to turn out. This is the front, and then I misunderstood, and then this is actually the front. And then how it works is basically you're supposed to slide. You can either slide this around or you can flip this up just to see underneath. I kind of misunderstood that, and there's a little miscommunication there, but I think Paul cleared it up. He kind of told me that's how it's supposed to be, and I think that feature in how it's designed actually makes a lot more sense now. So this fidlock piece here usually has your ID, your name, contact information. If your shit gets lost, they can find you. But instead, we don't know who you are. So instead, we just kind of did a universal thing, which is basically a Chinese proverb from wherever it's from. I'm not the expert at it, but it's really just in Chinese. It says 有容乃大. So what that means is basically tolerance is great. And what that means, what the fuck does that mean, right? It means that when you deal with people on a daily basis, you're gonna get shitty people, you're gonna get like cool people, you're gonna get like Karens, you're gonna get like Chads, you're gonna get all these different people. You deal with all these different kind of personalities, and not all of them are gonna be pleasant, right? So the whole reasoning and this kind of vibes with me quite a bit is just like, don't let the toxic people get to you. The whole thing about life is just you have to rise above these people. Don't fall for their bait. A lot of people, on internet seems to be kind of like internet warriors. They're just people. Words are just words. Sticks and stones and all that fun stuff. So on the cover, it's just a nice piece of equipment, but underneath, just like people underneath, there's a soul, right? And then that soul, the very important thing is just to be able to be tough and rise above and not care about what other people say and do, regardless of what you do. So that's the meaning behind that.
We are also doing a second batch of kind of a collaborative product with Oddjobs, which I didn't mention, which was the patches. They're metal etched patches, and the whole inspiration behind that is basically in Chinese mythology, there is a kind of a mythical figure called Bai Shuzhen. This mythological character really embodies kind of like love, sacrifice, regardless of who you are, and across like many generations. And that's kind of what we use to kind of design that image on the patch. And if you look on the patch, it's like a lady drawn in the style of like a lot of Chinese kind of art and animation, and wearing traditional garments, and with kind of like snakes in the background. So I hope that you guys like that design. We spent quite a bit on that time on creating that design, and that's just kind of the history and the short version of it. Again, if you're interested in the more in-depth story, I can probably link to Wikipedia or whatever. You can look it up on Google. Again, it's by Shuzhen, also known as Man of Snake. So learn more about our culture.
So yeah, I mean, that is the whole design process and behind the scenes. The bundles include the handle, one handle, 2 strap keepers for below the straps, your shoulder straps, to keep your straps organized. And then you have this ID fidlock sternum strap holder that you can attach to certain bags as well. So those are it. Those come 2 colors again. They will drop in store on the Friday of this week, which I think is the 24th, and then it'll be online on the 29th, which whatever we have left. We will try to keep some for everyone. But that's it. Thank you for coming to this quick behind the scenes of how we design, how we kind of produce this kind of piece. If this is something interesting, definitely hit that like and be sure to subscribe. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this particular collaboration piece. See if you like it, see if you don't like it, see what you kind of want to see more of in the future. And then just, yeah, I'd love to hear that. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.